Art Rooney II, I believe, is one of these owners who's very involved but doesn't need to be perceived by anyone as being involved, both because he doesn't need the credit, and I don't think any owner is looking for the blame. Jerry Jones is the only one who holds the title of GM and is willing to take the slings and arrows that go along with being the GM and then not having someone that can be blamed. But I think Art Rooney, Omar Khan, and Mike Tomlin are involved in making a lot of these decisions. And at some point, you got to remove the helmet and the jersey and the pants and recognize who are the players. You put the Steelers uniform on, guys, it feels a little different. You put the Jaguars uniform on these same 53 players, you'd be like, man, these guys aren't very good. And, you know, we thought this year might be different because midway through the season, it looked like maybe they could compete for a playoff spot and win a playoff game.
Right.
And you've said in the past, I don't want teams in the playoffs that can't win in the playoffs. And the Steelers continue to be a team that cannot win in the playoffs. And I still, you know, at one point yesterday, Mike Tomlin said something that I liked. He said, I love this game even when I'm miserable. And he does. I don't doubt it.
I agree.
Man, he doesn't seem to be as miserable as he should be about how the season ended. I thought it Saturday. I thought it yesterday. The fans are miserable. The fans are grieving another lost chance to get Super Bowl trophy number 6. And you want to feel like the people connected to the team feel the same way. And maybe he does internally, but it just didn't come through that he was upset, that he was dismayed, that he's bothered. He just wants to get back to work because he loves everything about it. And all right, season ends, didn't go the way we wanted, turn the page the next day. And I admire his ability to do that. But I just think the fans would like to see something. To get closure on the season, they'd like to see that the people responsible for the team are, you know, at least half as bothered as they are. And I haven't gotten that vibe from Tomlin.
Well, he's you know, a strong personality, a strong leader. A lot of times that guy tries to always portray that to lead his troops into the future. And I think that's a big part of coaching, certainly. Again, I know, yeah, what do people want? A little bit more sulking, whatever it may be. He's just not that type of guy. He's not going to do that. But being around him a good part of my life, I know how important it is to him and how he takes it on the chin and he loves to compete and hates when he loses. That's what I do know. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be the type that's going to sulk or maybe, you know, show a few faces that maybe smooth over the fan base a little bit because they go, oh, yeah, see, look, he's hurt just like we are. He is hurt. It's just he's not going to show that. That's not the kind of leader he wants to be portrayed as.
I'm not talking about facial expressions or overall demeanor. Now, one thing he could have done, he could have delayed the end-of-season press conference until Thursday or Friday if he wanted to give the fans a little more time to process everything, because I think the earlier in the week, you know, the more upset you are. If you're truly a zealous, ardent fan, it takes you a few days to process it and get over it. How about words? How about something like this, Chris? First off, I want to apologize to Steeler Nation because what we saw on Saturday night was not Steeler football. We pride ourselves on Steeler football. Kirk Herbstreit had some strong things to say during the broadcast about our team. And I'll tell you, he was right. Those players were not playing in a way befitting the uniform that they wore. And I guarantee you, Steeler Nation, that over the course of the coming days and weeks, we will identify player by player, man by man, who is with us and who isn't, who is willing and able to play Steeler football at all times, especially in a single elimination setting, and those who can't. And those who can't, those who won't, will no longer have the privilege of wearing this uniform. How about that?
Yeah, I listen, I hear you. I don't think it would be a bad thing, certainly. He's the king of, hey, we want, you know, we don't want prisoners, we want volunteers. I think everybody should know that's kind of how he operates in general. I do think, though, a little bit on Saturday night with him and the defense and the whole football team, you look in their eyes about late first quarter, early second quarter, they were shell-shocked. They were shell-shocked. And I think that was maybe part of the reason you're talking about too. It's just they were a team that has not played well, went into the playoffs limping, hoping to just get something positive going to latch onto that. And, of course, they got just absolutely uppercut, roundhouse, just punched in the face to start the football game, and they can never rebound and really get themselves emotionally back in the football game. I hear you, though, with what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong in the fact that he could say some things like that'll make the fan base feel a little bit better, right? But at the same time, I think he is a guy that is wired to, like, gosh, we lost. Gosh, I got to go back to work. And what are we going to do to fix the problem? And I'm talking to everybody in the organization right now, and we're already on to how do we get better next year. And that is part of being a good leader. But, yeah, I think I hear you in the fact that maybe some compassion or sympathy for the fan base is certainly necessary at times.
I feel like they take their fans for granted at times because that stadium's always going to be full. Because Steelers fans, and I think a lot of teams do this, when they're lining up, when the season ticket waiting list is a generation long, you can take your customers for granted. And I feel like they do that at times. I think it's human nature to, you worry about the things you have to worry about. And in Pittsburgh, you never have to worry about a full stadium. You never have to worry about not having a full complement of passionate fans who demand things, because we demand things from ourselves. So we're fine with the fans demanding things, but sometimes I feel like they need to spend a little more time making sure the fans are okay and making sure that the fans feel good about the message that's coming. And that was the one criticism I'd have of Tomlin based upon how the past few days were handled. He didn't really seem to be bothered by what happened. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.